Hi guys, welcome back. It's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. We've got a really interesting video for you today, and I'm going to be testing an official long drive driver. So a driver that is built for those guys who just purely compete in long drive events. It's very long in the length, it's very stiff, and there's very little loft on it. So I'm going to do a little comparison against my current drive, which is the Ping G400. Obviously a completely different spec in terms of makeup of the club, but I'm going to test it on GC Quad and see how this extra length in the shaft and maybe what I have to do differently to work this driver. And it'll be interesting to see if there's any more distance that we gain and how much distance do we gain with the long drive driver. Okay, so I'm going to start off with mine. I'm going to hit a batch of shots with my G400 LST, which is my gaming club. Now, spec-wise of this, as many as you'll know, it is 44.5 inch in length, so it's a little bit shorter than a standard. 8.5 degrees on the loft. It's the LST head, so low spin, and I've got it in a speeder in an X Flex. So this is, like I say, in my bag. So I'm going to hit a batch of shots with this. We'll get some numbers of what this is doing and sort of look at some potential long numbers along with a little bit of spin and also a little bit of strike. Yeah, so that was a bit low in the club face, slightly heel. Not the strongest one I've ever hit, but it's pretty all right for accuracy. So that's out there at 289. That's a better connection. A bit more of a truer flight, I would say, just slightly up that right side, but as I say, better strike. That's creeping to that 293. So not a bad shot for a slight one up that right hand side. So I know with this driver, if I get it going and I get the strike right, I get the spin in that right area that I want it with probably that right shape as well, I could get this into that probably that 305, 310 max if I'm really on it. So that felt good. That's slightly higher in that club face. Imagine I'm going to get a bit more out of that. Yeah, there we go. So you see that just slightly, that'll be a lower spin, 296, getting towards that 300 mark there, but a little bit more straight as well, which is good. Again, just up that left side slightly, but coming in pretty hot. Should be a little bit further again. Yeah, there we go. So squeeze a couple extra yards, 298. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit a couple more shots from my G400, but I'm going to hit these as hard as I can. I'm going to smash these as hard as I can, because we know the long drive guys, it's a very different technique to a normal golf swing. They're just looking for explosive power. They're hitting it as hard as they physically can to get as much speed to get that ball out there as obviously as far as it can. So it is quite different to a normal swing, but I'm going to hit just a batch of shots, see if the numbers are different, what my club head speed changes to, how that affects my strike. Again, I'm still in my club, so it's 44.5 inches, but I'm literally going to go for these and just see how far or what dispersion's also like. Try and rev myself up for this. Do myself an injury. So that wasn't a bad first one there. Wowzers. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, obviously I've caught that. I felt like I got that a little bit, that high toe, which is always good. That's 333 and pretty straight. This could be the way forward. Just smash it as hard as I can. And that carried over 300, so big jump there. Okay, that shouldn't be as far. That was lower in the club face. Interesting to see. See, I've carved that a little bit up that right. That's a massive drop off. So that's gone 283, felt the same speed, went for that, but really in the bottom of that club face. So again, we're going to probably see a trade-off here, aren't we? As we're going to try and hit it as hard as we can, maybe lose that consistency of strike. We'll have a look at that strike pattern, and then you see the massive drop-offs of distance and also the bit of that dispersion. Felt a little bit better, tiny bit of toe side, low face. Yeah, so good distance there, 310, getting up that right hand side. But also that first one, I really got in the right part of that club face in terms of that strike. Okay, right, let's move into the big boy, the 48 inch, 4 extra stiff. Yeah, I did say that. 4 extra stiff and only 5 degrees of loft. Let's see how that bad boy performs. Okay, so long drive driver. So it's a very, very different animal here. As I said, it's 48 inches in length, which is the legal limit now of 48 inches. No golf club can be longer than 48 inches length, so it's on that full legal limit, and it feels ridiculously long. So it's good 3.5 inches longer than what I've got. The head is very different to probably a standard head. It's a little bit more compact from front to back, very deep in that club face. So again, it's got, I'm guessing it's getting that CG as close to that club face as we possibly can to really get that sort of ball speed off the club face. It doesn't look massively techy. There's no adjustability in the neck. It's nothing really sliding weights, anything fancy like that. It's probably just very sort of hot off the club face, I'm guessing. Now this has got stamped 6 degrees on here, but I've got this off a pal of mine who used to compete in long drive events in the UK, and he said he's had this bent to 5 degrees. So it's playing at 5 degrees. And the make of this is what they call House of Forge. So if you maybe Google that, they basically sort of specialise in sort of long drive clubs, and there's many other companies out there that do the same sort of thing. Shaft wise, it's a ProLite HD they call it, but it is 4 extra stiff. So it's a sort of thing you might just poke your fire with at home. It's that like a rod basically, and it feels like, I mean, it's 48 inches in length. It just feels there's no give in that at all, and it just holding it and looking at it just feels this is going to be hard work. But obviously, you know, it would be interesting to see what club head speed I get out of this in the game with that extra length of shaft. And obviously with a degree of loft, I'm going to have to do something a little bit different here in terms of my setup. I feel like I'm going to have to get more behind it, and I feel like I hit more up to present more dynamic loft to actually get this sort of launching. And clearly this is just going to be pure power, like I did the last few with my driver there, just really went for it. And that's really what these long drive guys do. They're just going to have to smash it hard, and they're just trying to get one in the grid, aren't they? Get that strike and get one in that actual grid. Right, let's give this a go. This just feels ridiculously long. I can hardly see the club face. There's that little of loft on it. It just feels like it's going to go low right, this, but let's give it a go. Let's give this a whack. God, that felt stiff as that's gone so far right. It's going to miss the range. And this is a wide range, by the way. It has just missed the range. Wow. So that's gone 300, but probably about 300 right as well. Wowzers. Right, this is going to take me a couple of shots to try and get a sort of sink going here. The control aspect is going to be difficult, I think. It's not a club to probably take into the golf course if you're trying to hit a fairway, that's for sure. Let's give this one a go. Oh, jeez, that's off the toe. I can't control that at the moment. That's gone further. So 390, again, it's off the planet, right? But I see there's a bit of water down there. Gee whiz. Great for a sharp dog leg, right? There's clearly some distance there because, I mean, you know when you hit a ball like that, push, pretty much a push slice there, with a normal driver, you lose distance. So that's still going like 320. I'm doing that, which isn't great because it's going 320 more in the rough. But obviously, we're not talking about the rough here. We're trying to get just one shot out there, and that's what these long drive guys are sort of trying to do. Felt a decent strike. It's still so far right. I can't control that. Again, it's out there. It's 326, and it's still very right. I just need to get one squaring up. I'm interested to see how far it goes if I just square that up. I mean, that's launched at 13, spin at 1600. So, you know, these guys, the reason they play such little loft is they hit very up on it to try and obviously control that spin loft and then get that spin down, but they need to launch it high. Because if they get that spin low and keep it there as long as they can, that is basically distance. But the hard thing with this is just literally controlling it. Hats off to those guys trying to hit it down a grid. Oh, finally. One that's a bit straight. God, that's come out low. It's running like a little hare. So that's not as long as what I hit with my G400. That's come out so flat. So I've got the club face squared up there. I just didn't hit as up on that. So that was going a bit more into a gaming swing in a way. But clearly with that 5 degrees of loft, I've just not launched that at all. That's spun at 1500, but only launched 8 degrees. So you can see that's just going to dip out the sky, which is where the carry distance has suffered there. So I'm working this into my swings here for each one I'm hitting. I'm getting that slice. That was my straight one, but I had to put more gaming swing here. So I feel like I need to stay back, hit more up, but then I really need to feel to me like I'm closing that club face. It just feels very hard because it's so far away. It just doesn't feel like it wants to sort of catch up. I think I'm going to have to work that obviously harder than what I would normally feel. So I'm going to get right behind this. I'm going to tilt behind it, try and feel like I hit up and let that club release and just hit this up as far as I can. Oh, that's the one. That's got to be the one. Surely that's got to be the one. .331, that's my straightest one, and it's not got past my smashed one with my G400. Oh, I've got to get it past it, surely. Let me have another go. That's everything. I've chucked the lot at that. Oh, here we go. 342, that's the lot. That's me. Done. Okay, I'm going down for a lie down now. Let's go and have a look at those numbers. It took me ages there to really try and sink and feel such a different golf swing to a normal length club. And obviously there's a speed aspect. We're just trying to put explosive speed here to try and get that club head speed up. But let's go look at some numbers. Right, okay, so G400, just my normal stock swings there. So we can see club head speed was 115 and ball speed was 160. Okay, spin at 2.3, averaging carry around 271, 294 runner. That's my sort of numbers really. Okay, so nothing too untoward there at all. So then just in the blue here was, I called it G400 smashed. So that was me trying to hit it literally as hard as I can. So let's look at club head speed, 122. So I've gained a good 7 mile an hour on average there with club head speed. Now also that brings into a feel of just feel like I'm out of control. Got my ball speed up by 6.7 mile an hour. So for a 7 mile an hour gain club head speed, I should be gaining more ball speed. So clearly I missed a few strikes there as I worked through that, but obviously got my ball speed up to 171 on that last one there. Again, strike works into that. And obviously you had that one in there, the first one I hit, which was the good one. So touching 170 ball 12, so you control that spin again through that strike. Got me 308 carry, 333 total, and then completely lost it, massive drop offs because my strike went a little bit, and then just got one back towards the end at 310. Okay, then moving into the long driver, here we go. So it took me quite a few shots here to try and get a relationship between my club face at impact with all that sort of speed and that length of that 48 inches of length to try and work into as well. So let's have a look at club head speed. That'd be an interesting one to look at. So you see 124.6, so only a couple of mile an hour more than the G400, and it felt like that. It didn't feel fast. You know, you think 48 inches of length, it's going to feel really fast there. It didn't feel that fast there, just because imagine trying to swing a massive long pole. It takes more effort, doesn't it, to try and get it to swing in a way. That's what it felt like. It felt hard work. Ball speed 170, so we gained about 4 mile an hour of ball speed there. But you see that last one, I'm going to take that last one because that's the one where I finally sort of dialed it in, and that was my longest one. See 176 ball speed, which is great. So all those ones there, I just couldn't square the club face up. I was leaving it open a little bit, you know, 8-9 degrees open. It was just slicing way off to the right, getting some good distance. You know, I'm carrying that over that 300 mark there, but obviously way 75 yards right. It's off the planet, wasn't it? And then just that last one there, just dialed that in a little bit more there. Got that club face squaring up, finally found a bit of a feel there. Spin just under 2,000 with 176 ball, launching at 11. You see 317 through the air, 342 run out. But felt hard work. You know, those long guys, drive guys, they'll be launching that higher. with probably a little bit less spin, but probably, well, they are a lot more speed. They're probably touching that 200 ball speed mark, which is just obscene. So you can appreciate how they can be flying it into that sort of high 300 mark. You know, getting over that 400 mark there, it's incredible, isn't it? I feel goose, I need to lie down. Right guys, so there we go, there's a long drive driver hit. What a beast that is. It feels ridiculously stiff, as you can imagine. 4x is obscene, 5 degrees of loft, 48 inches in length. It's just a beast. Appreciate how those guys just do a lot of gym work, just pure strength of trying to get that club to actually work for them, really. Interesting. You know, as I say, it took me ages to dial that in. It's such a different club to what you're used to. I think most guys would even struggle to get that off the ground, never mind, you know, getting it sort of into the sort of 300 yard mark. Definitely for the sort of athlete of a golfer in a way. Interesting one though in terms of the length of the club into it and that strike pattern. Yeah, so the strike pattern with my G400 was pretty compact, you know, in that centre section, pretty much strikes, apart from one was a little bit heel. They're pretty much on top of each other in that centre, and that's one of the reasons why I play 44.5 inch to control that strike pattern. Obviously then how I deliver the club face will obviously dictate on the actual left to right dispersion, and as you know with me, I tend to get the club face a little bit short and I just turn that one over, touch left. As I then went into and trying to smash my G400, the strike pattern just sort of expanded a couple away from that centre, and they were a little bit more inconsistent, but not massively over that club face, so still gained an element of control. Then when I jumped into that, I was quite surprised, because 48 inches long, it felt so long, it just feels like I could hit it anywhere off that club face. But my strike pattern with that wasn't that bad, interesting enough. It's just the fact I couldn't square the club face up. Probably a little bit to do with the length, the speed I'm trying to hit it at, obviously where my body's moving, and also, you know, the stiffness of the shaft. It's just not wanting to kick back in at all, really, there. So there's an element of a few things that just struggled to work into, and I had to do something very different that I would never do in my normal swing to try and get that club face just to actually square up. I think if I'd done the same sort of feel with my G400, I'd just hit so far left, because I would just shut the face so quick. It'll be untrue. So very different sort of technique. Post your comments down below, guys. Interesting to know, have any of you guys ever seen one of these long drive drivers, ever actually hit one? It's a beast, you know, it's a tough club to hit. Interesting to know your thoughts if you have, and if you've ever watched any long drive sort of tournaments, the speed, there's a definite skill there, and there's a different technique to what we're doing in a sort of normal golf swing. Okay, so yeah, comment down below, let me know your thoughts as always. Appreciate you watching. If you found the video interesting there, then do again comment down below, but more importantly, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Follow my social media platforms, both Instagram and Twitter. The handles there are @MNGolfCoach, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.